Hi, my name is Joseph Lehotsky from Kukubara Advanced Hypnotherapy, and I am here today to talk about hypnosis. Subject a little bit mysterious, or maybe even somebody consider it as a magic. In some religions, it is even banned. So I think it's time to bring some light onto this subject and explain how you and your family can benefit from this wonderful, very effective, powerful tool. Now, almost everybody had a chance to see stage hypnotist. Well, pretty impressive, isn't it? In a few minutes, he hypnotized people and they behave very strangely, jumping like kangaroos or whatever case might be. Unfortunately, these kind of performances are giving very bad impression about hypnosis, because in reality, hypnosis is nothing like that. I need to explain what is happening in stage hypnosis. Firstly, those people you can see on the stage, they are very suggestible, and hypnotists will pick maybe 6 or 10 from audience of hundreds or 200 of people. So they are very, very easy to hypnotize. And secondly, these people, they put their hand up because they want to have their 5 minutes of fame. And that is the only reason why they are there, because they seeking naturally attention. Many of my clients, in initial interview I'm always conducting, they're asking how I'm going to feel under hypnosis. Well, the answer is very simple and straightforward. I don't know. I don't know, because everybody is experiencing hypnosis in their own unique way. However, one common denominator everybody seems to be reporting is to say, I was so relaxed, I don't think I have been relaxed like that in whole my life. It is not true that I'm going to make you jump like kangaroo, or I'm going to make you to say some secrets which nobody is supposed to know, because when you're in hypnosis, does not really matter how deep you are, you're always conscious. You're always aware what is happening around you. So I'm not going to be in charge of your mind or have curse over you or something like that. No, absolutely not. You are always in charge, and you can break hypnosis anytime you wish to. And actually, in a whole hypnotic procedure, I will challenge you to realize that. So let me repeat again. Hypnosis is nothing mysterious or magical. It is the most natural state of mind you can ever be in. And as a matter of fact, you have been hypnotized many, many times a day without even knowing it. Good example is, you are driving your car, you come to your destination and suddenly you realize, gee, how did I get here? I do not remember my journey. I hope I didn't run a red light. The reason you feel this way is because you have been driving in mild trance. In other words, your mind was narrowly focused on some different thought pattern. That's why you cannot remember. Another very good example is when you watch TV. Besides, the TV is the biggest hypnotist in whole world, the most successful one. Because after watching only 2 minutes TV, you become hypnotized. And here you need to be very careful what are you watching, because as we will learn later on in this lecture, when you are hypnotized, all those suggestions made by TV program goes straight away to your subconscious mind and wait to be acted upon. And it is what it is. You are watching TV program, so you are being programmed. So be very, very careful in your selection of the program you are watching. Many times clients, they can relate to situation they are watching TV and wife would come here and tell the client, how many times should I ask you, do you want that coffee or not? Because the person was so deeply in trance, couldn't even hear the wife talking to him. So let's talk about mechanics of hypnosis. How actually this happens, how does it work? Now, excuse my poor drawing skills, but let's imagine or let's assume this is your brain, and as you know, we have left side and right side of the brain. As you might know, left side of the brain is the part of your brain where your logic resides. Everything has to make sense. Also, through this part of the brain, you are perceiving this reality. And this reality is perceived through the 5 senses we have. The right side of the brain, however, is completely different. This is where your creativity is stored, your emotions, your feelings, your habits. And I consider right side of the brain as some kind of interface to spirituality. Now we are getting in touchy area because some people say, ooh, spirituality, ghosts and stuff like that. Well, let me put it this way. Doesn't really matter what you call it. If you call it inner self, higher self, myself, soul, spirit, does not matter. It is the same thing. Because reality is, and science has proved this already, you are not your body. You do have your body. So you are soul in a body experiencing this reality. That is the science behind this. And Russian scientists actually, they managed to develop special photo camera, and they managed to film dying man's soul leaving the body. So you could check it out on the internet. There are plenty references to that and plenty pictures to support this claim. So I'm not talking any iffy stuff here. So as I said, spirituality, this part of the brain has access to your higher self, or some people call it Akashic records. Doesn't really matter, but you do have connection to spirit world through this part of the brain. And also right side of the brain has a funny property to it. It cannot distinguish what is right and what is wrong. It cannot distinguish what is real, what is imagined. Basically, that the right side of the brain is functioning as storage device. And I usually compare the brain, or left side and the right side of the brain, as a computer. Here, left side, you would have your CPU and your programming, and right side of the brain is basically your hard drive, where all information are stored. Now, when you were born, this brain of yours, very simplistically said, was almost empty. There were few data there. Let's say first thing, there might be here data or instruction for your body to be alive. So your heart is beating, you're breathing, and you're basically kept alive. And this part of the brain is taking care of that function all the time. Good proof is that you don't have to think to be breathing. Oh, I have to breathe because I'm going to suffocate. Or I hope my heart is beating, otherwise I drop dead. No, it's done for you. It's automatically. And it comes from here, from the right side of the brain. Now, another bit of data when you were born probably was there here, knowing how to cry. So nappy is full, mommy come here, change the nappy. Another piece of data was there, how to suck, so you can feed. So you have that sucking ability, so you can feed. However, the rest, all of it has been learned. Everything. Just imagine if you can. You have been born somewhere, well, let's say in Saudi Arabia, and make it more interesting, you have female body. So just imagine how your life would turn up in comparison to Australian life. As a female, you would wear full-on burqa, have very little rights, or maybe even no rights at all. You would be getting physical refreshment from your husband daily, because very common. Maybe some flogging if you misbehave. Why is that? The reason for that is there have been stored different set of data here. Set of data for Saudi Arabia, which is absolutely normal. And because living in that environment, you would adopt those qualities. Throughout all our lives, we are gathering billions of informations. And from those information, we create our beliefs, our belief structure. Let's have a look how this belief structure come to the life. It is developed, or it starts to develop at a very, very young age, and usually through the people of authority. Let's say first people of authority are your parents, your mom and dad, then goes a bit higher, preschool teacher, school teacher. If you are religious, it would be your priest, the doctor, a very good person of authority. And then it goes policemen and government and higher and higher. But what actually is the belief? Well, belief is set of the instructions which you either consider to be truth or false. Good example of belief is, and everybody can possibly relate to this, you have to work hard to make a lot of money. So there would be instructions here, I have to work hard to make a lot of money. Another good example of belief is you have to eat everything what's on your plate because there are starving kids in Africa. Very common, especially in my generation. I've been told that hundreds of times. Now, as an adult, if you think about it, hang on, what's got to do with the starving kids in Africa? It's not like they're going to eat that food or not. So it's absolutely false in reality. So let's examine how this happened. As I said, beliefs is adopted through the person of authority. So, for example, your mother will tell you, you have to eat everything what's on your plate. That is person of authority, and you take it as a truth. You believe that. And it might happen very similar like this. So imagine there is a stove and your mom is cooking something on it. You are a little toddler and you decided, that looks quite interesting, let's explore it. So you shoot toward the stove. Now, your mom would tell you, Johnny, don't go there. That is a stove. It's very hot. You are going to burn yourself and it's going to hurt. Now, you have two choices. Listen to the person of authority and take it as the truth, or go for it. In either way, you will learn or you will gather sets of instructions here, or sets of information. As what stove look like? Does it make any sounds? Does it have any smells? Is it hot or cold? Obviously it's hot, and when I touch it, it burns like a hell. So do not touch it. So next time, what's going to happen when, let's imagine this is your eye, and as we learn at school, we have ability to have vision because of reflection of the light. So light would bounce over the stove, come to your eye, and your eye would set the signals to your brain to work it out what it is. So this logic part of the brain would say, okay, let's see, I'm getting some sets of data, so let's see if I can work it out what it is. Do I have any information about this object? So it starts to search a hard drive and find out, okay, so this set of information is equal to whatever is coming to this processing center. Okay, it's stove and it's cooking and it's hot, so do not touch it. This is how it happens. Have you ever wondered when you drive in a fog that you see something on in dark? You see something but you cannot find out what it actually is. The reason for that is there are not enough data coming from the eye to make comparison with the storage in your right side of the brain, to work it out what the object is. That's what it is. However, if the light comes onto the same object, more data will come and your brain is able to work it out. Okay, stop because that's another car standing there or parking there or something like that. And as we go through the life, we develop our belief system. That is a set of information which we consider to be truth or false. And I describe this belief system as some kind of filter throughout which we perceive our reality. So let's assume that the filter here between your eye and outer world, because we have two worlds, inner world, which is a world of your emotions, feeling and inside, and outer world. That is a world where we live in. And we perceive this outer world through our five senses, which are processed through the left side of the brain. So we develop this belief structure, and let's imagine that in this filter of belief structures, there's every belief here. Whatever is stored here in the right side of the brain is in this filter. And this filter also is a gatekeeper. Gatekeeper for information which are going to be stored in the right side of the brain. Remember, I told you, right side of the brain does not have ability to recognize what is right and what is wrong. It has to be decided through the logic. So this filter is gatekeeper which allows which information to be stored as the truth in the right side of the brain. So let's see how it works. For example, you are looking for the job and you have a newspapers and you are browsing through the newspapers, and there is here a little ad which says learn how to trade stock market shares, easy, fast money. What's going to happen? So as I explained before, we are seeing because of reflection of the light. So light would try to bounce from the newspaper, but even wouldn't be able to pass through this filter because there is a belief system in place which prohibits that, because you believe I have to work hard to make money, and this is easy money. So it would be rejected, and most likely what's going to happen, you wouldn't even notice that advertisement in a newspaper. All what you be noticing is some kind of hard work, truck driver or shovel and wheelbarrow job, something like that. And now we are coming to what hypnosis can do for you. As you might know, hypno is Greek word for sleep. And in reality, what we're actually doing in hypnosis, we put this gatekeeper into sleep. It's still there and still will be there. However, it's in a slumber. And that will allow us access to subconscious mind and make some changes there. For example, we might want to change this. No, you don't have to work hard to make a lot of money. You have to work smart. Because in reality, if you look at all those rich people, none of them is working hard, they are working smart. So by doing this, that will become your belief. So next time when you look through the newspaper and there is an easy making money job, that will come through the filter, allowing that information come through. And this is why hypnosis is so powerful. In case of my client with weight loss, simple, what we do in hypnosis, we say, no, you don't have to eat everything what's on your plate. All you want to do, you're going to eat 3 small meals a day, drink a lot of water, you are going to exercise, and guess what? You are going to love that exercise. And you will start to lose weight, and you are not going to be hungry at all. And again, as that becomes belief system, adopted as a belief, that will be part of your reality. And this is how it works. So as you can see, there is nothing, no magic, nothing mysterious. It's just simple science and learning how to use your mind to improve your life. It's simple as that. Also, you need to know that our personality is composed of many, many parts. What I mean by part? The part is part of our personality which behaves completely different to other part. Let's explain what I mean by part. For example, long weekend is coming in and you have a lot of work to do. So you decide, alright, this is the time to do it. I have 3 days, so in 3 days I can do this. So I get up 7 o'clock sharp on Saturday morning and start doing this and that. So decision has been made, that's it, you are going to do it. You set up alarm clock just to make sure you're going to get up at 7 o'clock. So 7 o'clock morning comes, alarm goes off, you shut the alarm and okay, let's do it. And part of you would say, are you crazy or what? It's bloody Saturday, another half an hour. This is what I mean by part. So part of you wants to do it, part of you wants to take advantage of long weekend and sleep in. Another good example of having part is you are cooking something. Suddenly open the fridge and said, now what did I want from here? You didn't remember. You're not going old or senile or anything. What just happened? The part who was cooking and needed, for example, sour cream from the fridge, for some reason left the consciousness, and another part would come to the consciousness, and this part would not have idea what needs to be done. And it takes few seconds until those two parts talk to each other and realize, okay, grab the sour cream and shut the door. This is what I mean by parts. And on average, we have about 20 to 30, maybe some of us 50 parts, which are, so we call it surface parts. They're coming and going through the consciousness quite frequently. And hundreds underlying parts. Also, those parts have been created in early childhood. And they're functioning as resources. They're our resources, so we can cope in this harsh reality of ours. However, very often happens that this young part will get emotionally damaged. We call it vaded. The part will get vaded. How is this happening? Or how is that possible to happen? Good example would be, let's say you are first grader and you did some drawing and teacher liked it. So she would praise you, Johnny, this is beautiful, I really like it. And maybe you are only one she likes, so she would pull out your drawing and say, look, class, this is how it's supposed to look like. Little Johnny made this drawing. So just imagine how proud he would be and excited. Excited to show it to his mom. So he would come home and would say, Mom, look what I've done, teacher praised me, and Mom is happening to be cooking dinner. And she would say, Johnny, not now. Can you see I'm cooking dinner? I'm busy. Not now, later. Now, could you imagine what would happen to excitement of that little Johnny? It would go flat. All excitement gone because Mommy rejected me. The worst part would be, next morning you find your drawing in the rubbish bin. Might end up by accident. Another brother came in, what is this? Chuck it in a rubbish bin. That would be felt like ultimate rejection. Now, because mind of little Johnny hasn't been developed yet, it cannot understand. Yes, Mom was cooking dinner, but she was cooking dinner for me, so I don't go hungry to bed. Cannot understand that. Only it understood I have been rejected by Mom. Probably she doesn't love me. And because of this, from that time, that vaded part of little 6 years old little Johnny would be coming to the consciousness on certain triggers. There are certain triggers in our environment. For example, you might hear the song was playing on the radio when this happened, or maybe you smell the soup she was cooking, or some other triggers, which would trigger that vaded part, and that vaded part starts to come into the consciousness to get resolved, to understand what happened. Not only that, with the part coming to the consciousness, it would bring the feeling associated with that rejection together with it. And because the subconscious mind cannot recognize what is real or what is memory, you would simply relieve that feeling of rejection without consciously knowing what is happening to you. That's why many people would say, I don't know what happened, I felt quite nice, everything was alright, and suddenly I felt very scared, very teary or depressed or something like that. This is what happened. The vaded part came to the consciousness. However, we have another part, and this part is very strong part. That is probably the strongest part you have. And this part will come to the rescue. It will say, hang on, you don't have to feel like that. I have a remedy for you. Let's have a cigarette, or let's have a drink. very common for women. Let's have a look what's in the fridge. Wow, ice cream, let's go for it. And as you eat the ice cream, all these flavors and textures, you get overexcited, all the senses are engaged, which will suppress that weighted part back down again. The worst case scenarios, people are hitting casinos. And because this part is so strong, it almost feels like you are possessed. You are defenseless against this part. So you are in casino and you are playing and all these lights going off and excitement and everything. And when you lose all your money, this strong part, I call it protector part, will leave the consciousness, and another reasonable part would come into consciousness, and you would realize, oh my God, what I've done. How am I going to be alive for next week until I get another pay? So this is how it works. And no matter what kind of client I have here, if it's client for stop smoking, or if it's client for weight loss or depression or post-traumatic disorder, doesn't really matter what kind of client I have here. I'm always looking for those weighted parts, because in my experience they are 90% responsible for the way people behave, for the way people feel, and for the way people perceive their reality. And I always say to my clients, I cannot change your life. However, I can change the way you perceive it. What I mean by that? I mean, for example, you lose a job, you fell into depression because you lost your job. What I mean by changing your perception, I can boost your self-esteem. I can encourage you to look for another job. I can make you understand or give you information to understand why did you lose the job, which will empower you. So instead of going down, you will go up. You will feel more energetic to find new job. Because it's always, one door is closing, another door is opening. There's always, in every situation, some positive outcome. Sure, it works bad from the beginning. But I'm always teaching my clients to look for that golden nugget of wisdom in every experience. And this is what it's all about. Hypnosis is not to make magical changes or anything. Hypnosis is here to help you, to help yourself. I would be able to give you some practical tool so you can manage your life more effectively, more creatively, so you can create far happier and more satisfying life for yourself. If you think, or you got the impression that hypnosis is some kind of magic wand, and you think I come to the hypnotist, pay him his money, and he's going to fix all my problem, nah, you have wrong ideas, Mike. Doesn't work that way. There's a condition to successful treatment with hypnosis. You genuinely need to desire to make change, and you need to be prepared to do some actions to make that change happen. Because you need to take responsibility for your actions. Usually people who blame their being sick, unsuccessful on somebody else. I feel bad because of her, she's making me miserable. I feel bad because of that situation. Guess what? if it is his or her fault, you cannot do anything about it. However, once you take responsibility for your action and outcome of your actions, that will give you power to change it. Because the reality is, we are living in two worlds. As I said, inner world, world of your thoughts, emotions and feelings, and outer world, the world we react with. And also the truth is, the outer world is functioning as a mirror of inner world. So it's very similar like when you look into the mirror. You look into the mirror and you can see an image of yourself. This is how it works. And if you are not happy what is happening in your inner world, it's absolutely pointless to make any actions in your outer world. It's very similar when a woman is trying to clean her makeup. It would be absolutely pointless to clean makeup from the image of the mirror. She has to do it on her own face. And this is how it works. So if you want to change your life and you are ready to change your life, you need to make changes here in your inner world. And once you make changes in your inner world, your outer world will reflect that. This is how it works. And that's why hypnosis is so powerful, because it allows us to make whatever changes we desire here in inner world. That's why it's more effective to work in comparison with psychologists. A lot of people go to see psychologists and they have a session every week for a month end, and surely they feel a little bit better, but they still feel like crap. Why? Because problem is here, inner world. That is the problem. Problem is not dealing in here. You cannot fix what has been broken inside. You cannot fix outside. That's what it is. So I really encourage everybody who is fed up or been tired or depressed or feeling inferior and doubting themselves. I cannot do this. I'm not good enough. Nobody can love me. I encourage to make decision and seek help. Seek professional help, because it can be changed. You do not have to suffer all your life. And not just example, I can tell you, I had one client. She was feeling miserable all her life, feeling unloved, unable to be loved, doubting herself, unable to make any decisions, just because as a child she was rejected from the sandpit. Yes, it can be simple as this. She was rejected by other kids. They didn't want to play with her from the sandpit. So it took only a few sessions to find out what was wrong and heal that child in her. And once that child has been healed, that weighted part doesn't have need to come to the surface anymore, can stay happily down there as a 6-year-old child. And I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I will be able to see you here as my client. You can give me opportunity to help you out, or maybe on my website or YouTube.